Hi everybody, we're going to put this orientation module online for those of you who were not able to attend our initial group meeting on our faculty learning community on ePortfolios. So I'm just going to walk you through the document. You can find this document in the About This Course module under Course Overview. It's linked at the bottom of that page. So what are we doing? We're looking at ePortfolios to see how we can use them in our courses and how we're going to innovate our courses using ePortfolios. So the mission of this FLC is to explore how to implement ePortfolios as a student learning assessment tool at Reinhardt University. The purpose of this FLC is to encourage participants to innovate the use of ePortfolios in their own courses and programs. Of course, the text is this. I don't know if you can see it, but the purchase order has gone through. We should be getting those books in shortly, and I'll get you your copy. Documenting Learning with ePortfolios, a guide for college instructors. It will be the basis of our inquiry, the jumping off point for what we're going to do with ePortfolios. We have two learning outcomes. Participants will explore how to implement ePortfolios as a student learning assessment tool at Reinhardt University. And two, participants will propose innovation using ePortfolios in their own courses and programs. Now, here's what you probably want to know. What are we expecting of you and your participation in this faculty learning community? You should attend all meetings and actively participate in the interest groups, activities, and discussions. Now, we're breaking up into small groups based on interests. So I believe our math and science folk have already decided on an interest in a topic, so they're going to be meeting together. We have about 9 other participants, so we probably want to get an idea of what your interests are. We're going to use a discussion forum for that and see if we can't get people into small groups to start reading things. Also, when it says attend all meetings, it's really up to the group whether you want those meetings to be face-to-face in person or to be facilitated online. We're going to create a group assignment which will give you your own little course shells that you can use to facilitate discussion of the books. We'll get to that in a little bit. So complete all agreed upon readings. This is important, agreed upon. You may thumb through the book and decide that you really want to focus on chapters 2, 3, 5, 7, and 12. I'll have to look at it and see what those chapters are. Of course, you probably will want to at least skim the entire book, but there may be just a few chapters that you really think the group needs to explore in more depth. So complete all agreed upon readings. Submit a collaborative summary of the 3 breakout sessions to the FLS Canvas course. So we'll have a group assignment for sharing those Canvas courses, those summaries. Basically just kind of meeting minutes, what you discussed, what you decided you wanted to look into, interesting articles that you found, just the highlights of your discussion. Submit an individual reflection on your participation in the FLC to the FLC Canvas course. This will be an individual assignment at the conclusion of what you learned in the process. And submit a collaborative scholarly white paper to the FLC Canvas course. The scholarly white paper should be approximately 3 pages in length, APA style preferred, and will act as an opportunity to share the product of your discussions with the university at large. About 3 pages in length, APA style. Okay, so you'll want to reference the reading. You'll also want to reference scholarly articles that you come across that are following up on your interests. Think of this as a way to inform the rest of the university the main highlights of your findings, okay? To excite other professors and to let them know about areas of ePortfolio use that you were unfamiliar with and you think they might be interested to follow up on their own. You can take, I won't say as a model, but you can take as scope and length requirements the white papers that CITL has published. Again, these are fairly brief and they are mostly overviews. We will probably have some more in-depth coverage of topics later on, but we just want to let the university at large benefit from your discussions. Meetings and activities. There was an introductory large group meeting. If you weren't able to attend that, you can complete this module, and that will be your attendance in that large group meeting. 3 breakout sessions of small groups over the course of the next 2 months. We can be flexible on that timeline too, honoring your requirements at this university. And then we do want to meet for a final roundtable discussion where everybody can come together, share their white papers, talk about the fun things that they discovered, and how they are inspired to innovate in their own courses. Okay, so here's where we really need to spend some time. We want to make sure that we're appropriately grouping people by interests so that you're looking at the same sort of things. If you're primarily interested in ePortfolio as a means of sharing, say, showcase work, that's one kind of discussion group. If you're looking at ePortfolios as to show process or ePortfolio thinking, that might be a different discussion group. So participants will divide or self-select into interest groups of 3 to 4 members. Interest groups could be interdisciplinary, discipline-centered, or topic-centered. Each interest group will be tasked with discussing the interest of ePortfolios, discussing the Light at All text, discussing strategies to innovate ePortfolios in their own courses and program, to decide on who's going to lead, co-lead, take notes, write up the white paper. So we want a minimum of 3 60-minute face-to-face online or hybrid sessions, and you might want to elect a leader to help facilitate that. And before the last meeting, a scholarly white paper submitted to us on what you learned in the FLC about ePortfolios and how you will incorporate it in your own courses. Of course, that last meeting, again, a roundtable discussion. I have put some links in the course resources area to assist in finding articles. There's a link to the International Journal of ePortfolios, the back issue page, and you can just kind of scan through the table of contents that way. There's also a link to an AAC&U page on ePortfolios. There's about 7 resources listed there. And one of those resources I think is going to be very useful is called Pearl. It's the, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's basically a one-stop shop for all scholarly articles on ePortfolios. So it's a very handy tool, handy resource. Learning outcome 1 is how we'll assess that is your participation in the FLC meetings and your individual reflection. FLC learning outcome 2 will be assessed with your scholarly white paper. And incentive. Of course, I'm sure you're excited to know that upon completion, you will receive a CITL Level 3 badge. Whee! Oh, you also get $150. Not bad. All right. So, read through this document, go to the course overview, read through the document, make sure you know what's what. But then most importantly, jump on the discussion forum in this module and indicate what your initial interests in ePortfolios are and see if we can't get you all grouped into your small groups. That's probably the main concern we have going right now. All right, I hope this was helpful. I'm looking forward to the product of this FLC. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.